right, we're back here with Paige Pierce. Seems like I'm talking to you every few days.
Yeah.
Just a few days ago, 16th major on the career on the trophy shelf, so congratulations on that, first of all.
Thank you very much.
Still in California, still going to be dealing with some slower ground play, some older school tracks. Give us the course notes on DeLaveaga.
Yeah, totally. Last week actually helped prepare for this type of terrain, you know, the minimal grass with the really hard compacted dirt that just gets a lot of slides. So luckily I've been playing here for 10 plus years and kind of know which greens are too sketchy to go for, which greens I can play up short and, you know, get the slide into the greens. But yeah, so last week I feel like was a good practice at disc speed, you know, speed control coming into greens.
Well, I won't waste time asking you how you feel given your margin of victory last week. I assume it's going to be pretty good at this point in time. Being the fact that you played here for a decade, you know, how has your game evolved tackling this course from 2011 Paige to 2021 Paige?
Oh man, I think, you know, I've always been the type of player that's preferred disking down and throwing harder. So I think this course is always set up well for me, and it kind of hasn't been too much of an evolution actually. I've always liked playing that way, so I've had good success here. In doing so, I'm throwing lots of mid-ranges off the tee. I'm throwing my buzz probably 14 of 24 times. So just throwing slower speed discs and using that slide to my advantage.
Yeah, and you know, you bring up the buzz. I've been quoting Nate Doss during this press conference a lot because he really credits, you know, that disc and this course coming together to really kind of define his game. You know, evolving on what you're talking about with the course and with disc speed, what are the holes that you really look to attack with that disc, and where are some examples of like where you're taking something off and saying, hey, you know, don't go for that, we know there's danger that way?
Yeah, totally. I have a disc in my bag actually that has a stamp on it from 2004 PDGA National Tour Masters Cup. And so it's really cool to be throwing that in my bag here and getting key birdies hopefully this weekend. The holes I think of immediately are holes like, it's all old holes, you know, old hole 3, old hole 7 and 8, those are great buzz shots. And then I know the locals call these two holes frick and frack, the two that go back and forth. I can't remember, that's like after 8A, so hole 9 and 10, old holes. I really throw them very often. Holes that I think that I'm going to hold back on and maybe lay up some putts are the hole 19. That green is so treacherous. Old hole 2, sorry. I'm definitely not running putts on that hole. Same thing with hole 19. And then, yeah, some of them are just going to be dependent on where I land exactly on the green. Does my putt look like a death putt? How does my putt feel in that moment? You know, if it feels like last week, I might just be running all of those 30 footers. But I tell myself on tracks like this, if you're outside the circle and it looks like a death putt, it's okay to lay up. If I'm inside the circle and it's a death putt, only go for it if you're feeling good.
Sure. Last question for me is what's one of your favorite DeLaveaga memories from all the times you've been here to Santa Cruz?
Oh man, DeLaveaga memory. I would say, wow, I'm trying not to think too long because I know we're live, but there's been so many years. I think maybe a putt of Katrina Allen's, funny enough, like last year. I think you guys actually just shared it on your accounts. We were playing on the ball golf course and it was torrential downpour. It was kind of like spotty rain here and there. And then all of a sudden Katrina gets up to her 45-foot putt, death putt at a sand trap, and it just starts raining harder than it had all day. And she ran it and made it dead center in the chains. And it was just like, okay, Cat came to play today and I need to keep up if I'm gonna have a chance at this win. So I think later in that round, the rain cleared up and I remember getting a late birdie with a huge putt on the second to last hole, and I think I sealed the deal on that, so it was awesome.
Paige, Chris with Gatekeeper. I just have a couple questions. Your card starting tomorrow is great. We have 3 world champions and then the AM winner from this tournament.
I didn't recognize her name.
Yeah, Danielle. Do you have any advice for her being on a card with so many legends of the sport?
Oh man, stop. If you're watching this, stop watching this. You have no business watching this, hearing other players' thoughts, focus on your game, and go out there and get some birdies. I know that it can be nerve-wracking, but, you know, everybody's going to have a bad hole, so just, you know, expect it. That way you're not freaking out when it happens.
Awesome. And last question, you finish up your last practice round. You have a later tee time tomorrow. What do you do in that meantime through the night into tomorrow morning?
Oh man, well, I just launched the news that I'm filming a disc golf documentary right now, so that's kind of a lot of what is going into my spare time right now, just promoting it, filming it, brainstorming exactly the plot line. It's kind of a working title, working storyline, but you know, we want to cover all things disc golf, and it's at least a 50-minute documentary, so we're trying to capture every single thing about disc golf in this 50 minutes. So it's constant brainstorming and getting interviews with all the players here. So yeah, that's kind of taking up most of my time.
Awesome. Being a filmmaker, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
so.
Thank you.
You took a little break about a month ago to go to Hawaii. You took off your Dynamic this Open. You came back, you won your last 2 events. As your career progresses, how important is it for you to pace yourself a little bit, take some breaks, reset, and how are you feeling at this point in the season?
Yeah, it's very important. That's something I learned over the years for sure. When I first got on tour, I had the mindset of, okay, I'm never going to get better if I don't play every single day. And not to say I didn't play every day in Hawaii, but when you're so tense all the time, you know, we go from tournament to tournament, and whether we're in competition or we're in very strategic and strenuous practice rounds, prepping, it gets tiresome on your body, but also on your mind. And I think it's key to the longevity of the sport or for the longevity of your career to take breaks. I know players like, I'm going to use an example of Connor O'Reilly because he's kind of like in our touring pod right now. He said he hadn't taken a weekend off since February. And his body, he's doing ice baths every day, Epsom salt. He's like so sore. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. Like, nobody is planning your schedule but you. If your body hurts, take a break. And I think a lot of players, younger players in the sport, feel that, like, I have to make a name for myself. I have to win this B tier. I have to go to every single tournament. And I think that it will haunt you in the long run because you're going to be more prone to injuries. And I would recommend everyone taking some breaks sometimes and finding some balance.
You captured another major last week at U.S. Women's, and obviously you're gunning for your 6th World Championship here in a few weeks. How much is your mind on the majors, and how much do you focus and kind of lean into these Elite Series tournaments?
Yeah, big time. I stopped playing all events under Pro Tour NT status. I might play 1 A-tier a year, if that, just because I'm so focused on the bigger events. I feel more fired up. I feel more motivated, and I think it shows in my scores as well. When a major comes around, I'm there with one thing in mind, and that's to win. So I'm trying to tune that in as well on tournaments of this level as well. But for some reason, majors just really, really fuel me. So hopefully I can pretend that this weekend is a major, and that'll be a good brain exercise for me to use moving forward.
Paige Pierce, great luck this weekend.
Thank you.
I'll throw a couple questions at you real quick. I want to ask about the documentary. I can't believe I didn't do it earlier. You know, how surprised were you to kind of wake up and see that you were halfway funded in, I think, the first like 48 hours that you put it up or something? Talk about the success so far.
It was amazing, truly. And I kind of thought it would be that way with all of the sponsors that we got on board. I mean, Discraft, Suka, OTB, Grip Equipment, and Thunderbird all stepped up, and they donated product so that when people did donate, they get some sort of perk for their donation. So I think that went a long way. We got Crystal Flex Fierces, which have never been made before. So if you donate $50, you get one of those limited edition discs, only 1,000 made. So I think that, you know, people want to see disc golf grow, and we made the announcement that we are trying to get this thing into film festivals. We're trying to get it on major streaming platforms, maybe ESPN. So our sights are high, and I think when you say things like that, people really understand how serious it is. And that it's not just a story of Paige Pierce, it is a story of all things disc golf. I'm just kind of the vehicle that has started this process and brought on this crew. So I think that I couldn't be more excited with the level of support that we've already received in 48 hours, and I know that I have a really good feeling that we're going to meet our goal by the end of the 30-day campaign.
What was it like when you first decided, hey, I want to make a documentary? First of all, everybody's doing YouTube videos these days, and you're going for a more traditional, like a longer form documentary. And sort of like, what did people say when you first approached them? Like, hey, I'm doing this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't really have a full understanding of the level of it until I bring a film crew that has 3 red cameras, and I think the media teams out here were first of all like, whoa, you're doing this for real. And I was like, I tried to tell you guys, this is a big deal. This is a 6-figure production. And yeah, I think that now it's starting to get more traction because people are seeing the lengths that we're going to. So I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. Well, best of luck with that project.
Thank you.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.